good morning, good afternoon. It is time for us to get started for the day. Whatever time of day it is for you, I know many people work a swing shift, and you may listen to the Morning Mindset not in the morning as we typically would understand it, but in a morning for you. And that really is the purpose of the Morning Mindset, is to help you start your day, whatever time of day it is, with the truth of God echoing in your mind. Because it's as you focus on the truth of God, you're able to live out your purpose, your role in the world. And the Morning Mindset is here to help you do that. Now, we've been talking in Romans chapter 12 about what it means to be living with a transformed mind. Part of it is that you begin to see yourself rightly. You begin to see yourself with sober judgment, understanding how God has designed you and who He's made you to be in the world. That's in Romans 12, verses 3 and 4. In verses 5 and 6, he makes the comparison of all of us who claim faith in Jesus Christ being like the members of a human body. And we all together make up this one body that functions according to the way God intends for it to function. And he says, each of us has gifts that differ according to the grace God has given to us. Isn't that interesting? Each of us have gifts that differ. Now, I don't know if you're aware of it, and you're probably certainly not aware of it by this name, but I notice something happening in the church now and then that I would call gift envy. It's where you look at the people who seem to have the more prominent gifts, the gifts of leadership or teaching, or maybe a musical gift where they're up on the stage at church on Sunday morning. And you tend to see those gifts and either wish that you had those gifts because you feel then you would really be able to contribute to the body, or you kind of demean yourself and denigrate yourself because you feel like, well, if I don't have those gifts, then I'm not very, very significant and I'm not going to be able to serve very well. And you see, both of those are perceptions that are in error. Because Paul's telling us right here, we all have gifts that differ according to the grace given us. So there's two parts to that. Our gifts are going to differ. The person you see who seems to be multi-gifted has many, many different gifts and has all these different things they can do. Well, that's how God has graciously gifted them. But the person you see who has maybe less gifts, or even the ones that are more behind the scenes and not noticed as much, maybe you feel like that's you. You have also been gifted in that way by God's grace. You see, it is God who determines who receives what gifts. And it is our job as believers in Christ to learn how to delight in the gifts God has given us. We are to delight in it. We are to be excited about how God has gifted us, not regret or begrudge that we didn't get a certain mix of gifts. Our need is to learn to be content in the gifts God has given us and actually to pursue them in a way that enables us to thrive in those gifts. Because as we employ them, guess what? They're gifts God has given us, and His work begins to be done through our lives when we do that. You see, that's what gifts really are for. They're not for us. They're for us to use in a way that brings benefit to others as God intends. And in the next section here, the Apostle Paul is going to go into some specific gifts and say how those gifts should be used. And some of the gifts are the ones that seem more prominent. But there's also some in this list that don't seem as prominent. They don't seem as wonderful and as, I don't know, as flashy as the others. But I think Paul does that on purpose because he wants us to see that large or small, flashy or not, they are all gifts of God to those in His body. And they are all to be used according to the grace God has given. So I encourage you, my brothers and sisters, start thinking about the gifts God has given you and how you can use those, and start learning how to delight in them, how to be excited about how He's going to use the particular gifts that He has given you. If you would like to support the Morning Mindset, please check out the description in your podcast player app.